This is a TalkStation original podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of The Senior Moment. Today you have Lynn and myself from Carteret Landing. And Lynn, who are our special guests today?
Our special guest, I am so excited, is actually Liz and Matt McCoy. And one of the reasons I'm so excited is in navigating through assisted living and making this move, I always say it's a puzzle, but there's three main pieces. One is emotion. Families and residents are going to go through the emotion. Then you have the finances and getting through that. But even more important is logistics. And what I've got today with Matt and Liz is they are from Smooth Transitions. They are the ones that are going to help with the logistics of the move, the actual move from start to finish. So I will turn it over to Matt and Liz. Tell us what you do, how you do, and just walk us through it.
Well, thank you all so much for having us. So we are what is called a senior move management company. Simply put, we're project managers for the moving process, the moving project. Moving is one of the top 5 most stressful events that human beings experience in their life, and in America in this era anyway. It is up there ranked along with the death of a loved one, divorce, things that are just really, really hard. And our clients are obviously doing this in their 70s, 80s, and 90s. And their bodies are different than they were 40 and 50 years earlier. So this is a very stressful process, but I like to explain that a move really begins the day you look around your home and you say, okay, we're going to do this. I'm going to move. The time has come for me to leave my home of the last 30, 50, 60 years for some, and to go to this new place. And that's scary. And then the project ends the day, I like to say there's 2 really big finish lines. The first one is the day they walk into their new home and they look around and there's no moving boxes left. All the wall art is on the wall. The bed is made. The TV works with the remote. It's all done. And if a guest came over later that afternoon, they would look around and say, how many years have you been living here? You're fully settled. That's when that part's done. And the next part for most of our clients, they're leaving a house that they have to sell. And they can't sell that house until every single item is out of the house, all the way down to the last salt and pepper shaker. Every single item must be out of that home. So that's the move project. And our company and other companies like ours, we're part of an association called the National Association of Senior Move Managers, or NASM. NASM.org is where that can be found. We're associated with that organization. And so everyone that's been trained according to this, we're specialized at helping seniors that are going through and having to do anything affiliated with all the logistics that take place between that first starting line and that last finish line for that whole project. So we're project managers helping people do or finding the people that do all those things.
How did you get involved in this? It's not a career day in high school that your guidance counselor talks about. So how did you all find this passion?
We laugh about this quite often just because we really feel thankful for the opportunity that we get to walk alongside families and clients who are going through these types of transitions. But like you mentioned, neither of us had even envisioned that there was an industry called move management. And a few years ago, we were actually living out of the country and had moved quite a few times already. So we knew what comes with moving, and it's logistical stress and chaos at times. But when we moved back to the States, sort of unexpectedly, we realized we were going to be staying, and just through a series of events, a lot of crossroads, a lot of opportunities kind of came with closed doors, and we just started praying about where God would lead us and what He would have us to do. And so we started researching and had really, we love old antique stores, estate sales. And so we had actually been advised by my parents to look into some things in Wilmington, where I'm from. And we actually started.
There's a company down there that her parents are friends with the owners, and they do basically estate cleanouts. And so they said, hey, we get calls from New Bern sometimes. If you are living up there, I know there's some need, and y'all should look into this industry. So we really started going down that route, and then we stumbled across NASM.org. And that's when we saw, you know what, we don't really want to just deal with people's stuff. We do appreciate stuff, like seeing things, and we like, again, old antique things, but
The history.
we're people. And so we reached out. We actually found Smooth Transitions. It's a larger organization, and so we found them up in Wake Forest and went up there for a work day and learned what they do. And it was more in line with who we are and what our strengths are than just going in, cleaning a house, and doing a estate sale. We actually don't do that at all now. We do work with some auctioneers and people that do that, but we don't do that part. So that's how we stumbled across it. It really was, we didn't figure it out. Like these things just kind of fell into our lap over and over, and it was kind of a complicated pathway, but it was really sweet.
And I think just as we've done it, I guess going on 3.5 years now, which is crazy. It's gone by so quickly, but the more we do this work, the more we really feel that we're called to it, because it's not this career that we first saw, but we feel like we are fulfilling a need and a purpose that we feel called to serve and love these families. So
Can you tell me a little bit about what the certification through the association, like how do you get certified? What is it, are there classes that you have to take or tell us a little bit about that, because I would imagine that that's what sets Smooth Transitions and anybody else that's gone through the certification apart from anybody else who claims to do what you all do.
We had to, NASM has several different I don't know if certifications is the right word, levels of service that show, hey, you've done this, and you actually have to apply for some of those. We've not done that just because I don't feel like it's super important, but you could have like NASM gold standard certification if you submit, hey, we've done this many jobs, this many hours, and things like that. But the basic certification with them is to go through, I don't remember how many hours it was of training. Again, this was several years ago, but there was 4 or 5 courses all online. It was very thorough. We went through trainings on dealing with different types of dementia, different types of tendencies and challenges. We did role play scenarios.
And they typically, for anyone who's certified through that organization, they want everyone to operate under the same code of ethics and just a common understanding and empathy. And also, as you seek to care for these families, oftentimes it can be confusing, you know, if a child is caring for their adult parent, and out of love and concern, maybe you want to step in a way that really the autonomy is still there for that adult client. And so just helping you to understand those nuanced scenarios where you really want to care well for everybody, and sometimes that doesn't mean listening to the one who is, you know, trying to speak on behalf of their parent, but their parent is still able to speak for themselves, versus the POA where they need to medically come in and speak, and you understand the need for that support. But it's been helpful to navigate having that, as we've encountered lots of situations where we've needed that.
That particular item on the Code of Ethics is the client is the person not who's paying the bill, but the person who is in transition. So even if the child is paying, it doesn't mean the mom who really wants to keep this vase or whatever, and she's like, Mom, you've had that ratty old vase for too long, I'm throwing it away. It's our job to say, no, this is appropriate. Now, if she's got 82 of them and she's in a 200 square foot unit, then that's a problem. That's a little different. But if it's reasonable, like they are the client. And so if there's a conflict there, we have to step out of that relationship. Additionally, though, we're like any other certification, they make sure that we're renewing our insurances every year and have, the words aren't coming to my mind, but all those things that a legitimate company should have in place.
So you said that it's kind of a standardized, so people who may be listening to this from outside of this area could utilize NJ, help me again.
NASM.
NASM.org. NASM.org. And they'd be able to find people that have been trained in the same
Absolutely.
level of ethics and the expectations, and it sounds like it's a really good resource to be able to utilize to make sure you're getting somebody who is honest and is going to have a good business.
Absolutely. Yes. NASM. So, for instance, there's, I don't know what the number they're at now, but between 30 and 50 smooth transitions branches nationwide. There's over 1,500 NASM organizations. Every single smooth transitions is also NASM, and there's a zip code search on both of those websites. So NASM.org anywhere in the country and Canada, and I think Australia. They can find NASM members.
Okay.
We have a national conference every year. It's a good industry.
Hi, this is Lynn Schultz at Carteret Landing. We invite you to visit our beautiful assisted living community. Carteret Landing pairs exceptional, compassionate senior care with the stylings of a resort. Our beautifully appointed suites, common areas, and bright and engaging memory care neighborhood can provide you or your loved one with the quality living they deserve. Carteret Landing is in Morehead City, right behind the Friendly Market. Come by and see us today or call for your personal tour at 252-773-0980.
Hello, I'm Natalie Gibble, a hospice care consultant with Gentiva Hospice, and you're listening to Senior Moment.
Welcome back from our break to the Senior Moment, again with Ryan and Lynn. I was about to say Ryan and Liz, but it is true. We do have Matt and Liz from Smooth Transitions here. And before the break, Matt, you were mentioning how it takes a team to be able to do what you all do. And so in helping a senior move from their home to wherever they're moving to, who are the components of that team? You mentioned an auctioneer at one point. Who else is part of that?
I think, explain that the best way possible, I'm going to break down kind of a move the way we see it as a company, which is we break it down into 4 phases. The third one is part A and B, depending on how far they're moving. Phase 1 is really logistics planning. So that's, we're going to sit down, okay, what is your date that you'd like to move? What date do you need the house cleaned out by in case they're already under contract or they've got a realtor or whatever their scenario is? We try to figure out all the key dates and then the key players. So they will need a mover. We're not a moving company. That is a whole completely different business model and licensure, and that's not what we do. That's not our lane, so we don't get in it. We're not a realtor. We don't get in that lane, but we know some good realtors. We're not an auctioneer, but we know some good auctioneers, so on and so forth. So our lane is really to manage this project, kind of like a general contractor for building a house, but I'm not going to do the tile work in that example. So phase 1 is lining up all the key players and understanding all the key dates. We also will do floor planning. Everything in the home at the end of this process, as I mentioned earlier, down to the last salt and pepper shaker, has to fall into one of 5 buckets. We start with the first bucket of what are they going to keep? What's going to fit in the new home? What should they take? The way we do that, we start with the big stuff, namely the furniture. So we do a floor plan, all to scale based on their new home. We arrange it, and then they can start visualizing, this is where I'm moving to. And they can also say, grandmother's armoire will not fit. It's been in my life ever since I was 2 and before, and it won't fit. And they can start grieving that process early. So it clarifies what's happening. And they can also start the conversations with the granddaughter about if she wants it. But the first bucket is, what are you going to keep? The second is, what is going to go to loved ones? After that, if it's not being kept or going to loved ones, then can it be sold? And what ways does it need to be sold? Number 4 would be if you're not keeping it, not family, not being sold, donation. Some things are not good enough to be sold by an auctioneer, but they don't need to go in the trash. We donate those, and we'll talk to the client about their favorite places to donate. And then after that, it's trash. So at that point, we've got everything out of the home, but it's still a little bit of a mess. So then we go through, we broom sweep the home. We leave it in a broom swept state, which is a general clean. We don't do a deep clean. So all of that we break down into 4 phases. The first one I've already kind of gone into. We're establishing where everything in the home is going. We're marking those things. Phase 2, we know what's going with them, but we're going to now pack. Phase 3 is move day. And if you're going somewhere far away, usually there's 2 move days or maybe 3 move days because of the drive time. 3A, the first part of phase 3 is in the origination address home. And 3B would be pulling the truck up to the new home, starting to unload. At the end of the move day experience, our clients will walk in and, like I mentioned earlier, no boxes left around, everything's done according to what they want. And then phase 4 is cleaning out the home. So as far as who our team is, we have our own team of about 6 ladies right now, and then Liz and I. And we'll have some guys come in that do some of our heavy lifting work. We use several moving companies in the area, several auctioneers in the area, so on and so forth. I think that answers
even down to, logistically, if there's things that need to be done to the apartment or to the home that they're anticipating to move to. We work with local handymen, or even we go in and we install things that are needed, extra storage or grab bars, things like that, to just make sure that functionally and safely they're accounted for before they make that transition. So, but when we first started, it was just the 2 of us, and it's been very neat to see, one, that the need for these services has remained present and even grown, and it's enough to say that we've been able to add more and more people to our team just to help us be able to complete the projects in the way that we have. And so we're really thankful for the people that come alongside us to do this work.
Do you have a favorite, not a favorite, but do you have I know you have a highlight list of moves that you've done. Do you have one that you want to share with us here on the show today? One that was just memorable and how you made a difference for them? I
can think of one that we really were nervous that we had really botched it, because the whole time the whole time we had been interacting, we had multiple projects at the same time, so we had multiple clients and we were going back and forth between the 2, and one had preferred to remain pretty hands off, while the other had and when I say hands off, they had wanted to take on more of the tasks themselves than have us do it. And another client had a spouse with Alzheimer's, and so they needed us to just take everything on. And so very different, very polar projects. And yet we just felt this need for each one to keep everybody involved in as much as we could, because we wanted them to know, they could reach out, they could trust us with everything. And the one that chose to do more of the work themselves, though they did not realize in taking on more of the work, they were very frustrated by how hard of a job it was to do moving and packing. And I think in a way became frustrated with us that we were not doing it because they wanted to do it. And we wanted to give them that autonomy to say, we will guide you, we'll get the supplies to keep the cost within your budget. And it was wonderful at the end of it, because once move day came, it was such a big project in a lot of ways. And I think we all just were holding our breath, because we wanted them to be pleased and happy and settled. And I just remember that day, after transitioning the things to their new place, they came out and with just much, almost tears of joy, this man just told us how much he appreciated us and the team and the movers. And I think it was very shocking, because everything leading up to that point had just been so stressful for them, because of them trying to take it on themselves versus allowing our team to come in and fully run the move. And he ended up leaving us a wonderful review. And I think it was just the moral of it was just very kind and uplifting. But throughout the process, we were just very terrible. We were terrified that we were done for.
There are some challenging scenarios, and people that we're working with have lived a lot of life, and some of them have gone through some very challenging things, including horrible wars and PTSD. And so it is. There are times where clients are very easy to work with and fun on a whole nother level. And then there's other times where you're trying to figure out how to help them bear a burden well when they don't know how to explain what they want or need. And they're having this is a very challenging thing to walk through. So that was a really sweet one at the end for it all to click and him to see clearly at the end, wow, this was super helpful. And we were positioned well to step in at the last minute.
But we were ready. We were ready for whatever was going to happen.
Hard day. We went for a hard day, and it was a wonderful day.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned challenges. I can imagine that another challenge. I mean, there's so many challenges in this. Everything from the size of the house that somebody's moving from and going to, because I talk about that with our team of the size of the rooms for the assisted living residents, all the way to working with families that are living far away. You were talking a little bit about that during the break. Can you kind of rehash what we were talking about and some of that challenge?
Yes. I don't think it really hit me until recently, as I've just reflected at times. But when we started out in 2023, when we first decided we were going to open our own small business, we knew that we were living in an area where a lot of people come to retire, both in the New Bern area, but then all along the beaches here in Moorhead and beyond. But we didn't realize as much how that would impact people and their need for support with children that still live far away. And so we've had quite a few clients whose kids have been a part of this process, but they are very much so removed because they physically can't be here with us to go through this process with their parents. And we joke sometimes because we've had enough situations where we've said we should make a shirt that says keeping families together since 2023, or because of being able to bring in, an unbiased third party. But one thing that we really, in all seriousness, just truly value and hold with a lot of weightiness and respect and honor is to be able to carry this burden, so to speak, with these families, because I thought about the fact that one of our recent clients, their daughter lives on the other side of the country, and she knew she couldn't be here with her parents to walk through this transition of getting them into a community while her mom was losing her memory and her dad was, aging in his own way as well and couldn't fully support them. But to think about us being in their shoes and not being able to be with our parents, what would we want on the ground with them? And it's that kind of thinking that has helped us just to be reminded the reason and the why behind what we do, and hopefully what our clients and their families feel from us and our team is that we really want to care for them. We don't want to necessarily give them everything they want to take with them in their journey as far as stuff, but we truly want to interact and care for them as if they are our family, and hope that they feel the autonomy, the support, the love that their own kids who may not be able to be present would show them in that journey. And so it's a high honor and truly is, yes, it's something, it's a joy to be able to do this with people and to feel like they allow us to do that.
I can see how, and I can feel how passionate you all are about helping people make this transition. And so how would they reach out to you if their loved one, or if they themselves are going through a transition like this? What's the best way to reach out to learn more about your services?
Yeah, well, as we mentioned earlier, they could find us on the nasm.org website using the zip code search for Eastern North Carolina, and they could also go to Smooth Transitions ENC. So we're Smooth Transitions of Eastern North Carolina. They could Google us, or they could go to smoothtransitionsenc.com, or they could give me a call at 252-497-7792.
Well, thank you both so much for coming on today. Greatly appreciate
Thank you all
it.
for having
us.
Thank you for the services that you help in providing for the seniors that are making this very difficult transition.
It's our pleasure.
Thank you,
it's a joy.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you all.